Hi class, welcome to week number 4. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes going over assignment number 3. If you again are wondering what am I talking about, a draft will be due in this week's discussion forum of assignment number 3, which is the second part of your program proposal, and the final assignment will be due next week in week number 5. So as you saw in the first part of the program proposal, there are templates available for these assignments, and you're going to use those templates to complete the assignment, and you will submit your template as your initial post of the discussion forum this week in week number 4. The 3 parts of this week's assignment and of assignment number 3 are a budget narrative, and ideas for your program evaluation plan. So this week you're going to provide the budget for your new program or the program that you're proposing and asking for funding for in this assignment. It's very important that you think through all of the possible elements of your program that could cost money. That could be overhead, that could be staff time, it could be support staff, it could be supplies, printing, transportation, program materials, rewards for participation, whatever the case may be that your program will need. Think through all of the possible expenses, even things that you may not think about right off the bat, or pieces that you think may not cost money. Sit with those pieces for a second and think about whether in any way, whether it's in kind or time-wise, whether it costs something. And then think about whether those things need to be put into your budget in order to establish what the total program cost is going to be and how much you're asking for. The assignment template does provide a budget that you can use. If the things that are already listed on there do not apply to your program, you can change them, you can use a template form, you can delete rows, but you do need to submit a chart budget in some way. The second part of your assignment is the budget narrative, and this is very important in order to provide context and justification for the money that you are asking for in your budget. So a budget narrative will justify and explain each item in your budget, even down to the smallest thing. You're going to describe why each item is needed and how you arrived at the cost estimate. Again, you want to think through all of the different types of expenses, and you want to think about in-kind expenses as well. You know, when you're working on your program proposal, you're going to think about other ways that you may be contributing to this program, because funders want to see how it is that you're also supporting and investing in the program. And so thinking through in-kind expenses, thinking through the reasons why you're asking for money are very important to be able to explain and justify exactly why that is. Sometimes when we're creating new programs, we just ask for money because we think that it's exactly what this program needs, but the budget narrative gives you an opportunity to think through all of those different pieces and actually provide rationale for why that is. And then the final component of the assignment number 3 is going to be the program evaluation. The readings for this week provide really good insight into tools for program evaluation, different methods for program evaluation. I really encourage you to make sure you've done that reading if you haven't already. And it's going to help you as you prepare your own program evaluation plan. So you're going to look at your objectives and your outcomes, the things that your program will be putting out through the activities that you're proposing. You're going to look at the methods or tools that you will use to evaluate progress. So how will you know if you have achieved this? How will you measure progress or success? When will you see this success by? What is the timeline for completion? What is the timeline for completion of the evaluation? And then who is responsible for providing this information and doing this evaluation? So if you're designing a program that has a program manager, it may be the program manager. If you're designing a program that actually is asking for money for somebody to do monitoring and evaluation, maybe it's that person. Maybe it's the already existing director and you're not hiring any new staff. Whatever the case may be, someone is responsible for ensuring that your program is meeting its goals. So for the discussion forum this week, you're using the same groups as last week. So you're using the same triads that were provided for last week. Again, your template is your initial post, and you're going to respond to each of the people in your group's posts and provide feedback about their budgets, budget narratives, and program evaluation. So you're going to want to ask yourself questions as though you were the funder. So you want to assume the role of the funder or the representative of the organization that you are asking for money. Would you consider your peers' program proposal sections adequate enough for you to consider giving them a grant? What areas might they need to add or strengthen? Be honest and constructive about your feedback and recognize that it's an opportunity for your teammates to be able to strengthen their proposals prior to submitting them next week. Also in the instructions for the discussion post, you'll notice some links. This is where one of the links leads you. It's to a rubric for evaluating a program proposal. And so you're encouraged to consider using this because it can help walk you through the different ways of evaluating the program. So whether it's on their goals, the design, using best practices, their plan for evaluation, how they're demonstrating their ability to collaborate with other organizations in order to achieve the goals, what their budget looks like, whether it's reasonable, whether it's justified. So these are all very common ways that grant proposals are judged, and you'll notice that there's a scale from this is strong, this is justified, this has a lot of information, this is demonstrating a really solid understanding of the program, to less so, and then to really this proposal does not provide any of that information. So I encourage you to look at those rubrics and use them in your process of giving feedback. As always, if anyone has any questions, I highly encourage you to contact me ahead of time. Please do feel free to let me know if you're having any issues, and good luck.